This is the Cubs POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, look, guys, I'm 33 years old. Daniel Palencia, I'm not supposed to be ready to have a heart attack already, but the Cubs find a way to win 4-3 over the Milwaukee Brewers. They don't have a lot of opportunities, but they take care of the ones that they do. Michael Busch comes through. Matt Shaw with the big run. Again, Daniel Palencia, stressful, but he finds a way to get it done. My gosh, that has playoff atmosphere vibes, and the Cubs win this series, and they win this game 4-3. Nico Horner, great grab on that play. Daniel Palencia, look, I hate to be negative off the bat, but to be honest with you, I have serious concerns about the way Daniel Palencia has performed. He has been shaky, but he's found a way. You want your closer to find a way to win games, and he has done that, whether it's giving up home runs like he did before the Cubs lost, or just the opportunities like tonight. The Brewers are right there to take advantage. A team that has had so many recent wins in comeback fashion to hold them off. But, woo! My gosh. Phew. That was a heart attack, says Genway Yu here in the chat. Chai Cubs 13 says, holy crap, my heart. Yes, I mean, you could feel it there in the bottom of the ninth. My heart was beating. I was feeling it there. My gosh, that was what a win for the Cubs. I never honestly thought. I doubted the Cubs. It was right to doubt them. We'll talk about Kyle Tucker's injury. We finally have actual details about it from Jesse Rogers from ESPN, but holy cow, right now, I can't do it all the way, but my gosh, Higgs 8091, I feel the same. They are back. The Cubs winning this series feels so good. The way they have played has been awesome. You've gotten good pitching. You've taken opportunity of your opportunities that are there, like Michael Busch, bases loaded, 3 walks in a row, RBI double that 3 RBI double that clears the entire bases. I mean, these guys are finally playing like we expected them to play. It's so nice to see the Cubs playing this way, but man, that was stressful to say the least for the Cubs. So great win tonight, great series win, but it's not done yet. I said it yesterday after the end of the doubleheader. Change the narrative. Before the series, it was win 2 out of 3. You won 2 out of 3 before you got to this game. Now you've won this game. You've won 3 out of 4. Finish it tomorrow. Win 4 out of 5 in this series. You've got a chance to win this series 4-1 and put yourself back in contention for the Central. It's a lot has to go right for the Cubs. There's no doubt about that. You have to have the Brewers unraveling a bit, and the Cubs have to stay hot. But this team has been playing so well in this series. It's about damn time. It's taken so long for the Cubs, it feels like, to get things going on all cylinders. Look, you only had 4 hits in this game. A game in which the Cubs in this recent stretch have not won. They have not had the opportunity because the lineup has not taken advantage of the opportunities that were given to them. They've had plenty of opportunities recently with bases loaded, with men on third, with less than 2 outs, and they haven't come through. And tonight, Michael Busch comes through in the biggest way. I'm not even sure who to give the locked on player of the game to, because while it feels like he is so deserving, Michael Busch is, at the end of the day, Matt Shaw, that home run that he had, this kid, I saw someone say here in the chat, let's see if I can find it here. Steven says, I'd like to formally apologize to Matt Shaw. You know what, Steven? That's a great apology. It's well deserved. That kid, it's so interesting what's happened with this team, because everything that PCA was in the first half of the season, Matt Shaw has turned into in the post-All-Star break part of this season. This kid is everything that was promised. We'll talk about the Kyle Tucker injury. But when you think about trading Cam Smith and the move that was made by this front office to move that guy away, a guy who's hitting below 200, just like Kyle Tucker, since the second half of the season, or since the post-All-Star break part of the season, the reason why you didn't trade Matt Shaw is because you believed in him, and he is proving his worth. Anthony says, Shaw, oh my God, Gold Glove. Absolutely. He's going to be a Gold Glove player. for the Cubs. They're going to have so many of these guys that can win Gold Gloves. I love this. Rivas the Butcher says Matt Shaw can have my first son. I love it. Look, it's deserved the way he's playing right now. He has been so much of a success, and the reason for success for the Cubs. And when all the bad was happening, he was like the bright spot. We couldn't really focus on the starting pitching. He felt like you couldn't focus on the bullpen. That's all been good post All-Star break. But Matt Shaw has carried this team offensively, which is crazy to say. I mean, how many shows did we do here, whether it's me or Matt and Sam, like talking about acquiring Eugenio Suarez or some third baseman? And this kid has all of a sudden taken the All-Star break, adjusted, and it's stuck. We saw it happen when he came back up to the majors. We saw the adjustment made. It worked for a little bit. A ton of opposite field doubles, but now we're really seeing it between this play, the triple that he had in yesterday's game, and be able to get home, the wheels that this kid has. Matt Shaw makes you a believer. When you think about what Carter Hawkins said, the 2032 Cubs, I hate it still. But when you think about the future of the Cubs, Shaw, Casey, Ballesteros, Pete Crow Armstrong, Kate Horton, all that stuff makes you excited. And for this series here, it's been the young guys that have really pushed the Cubs into this series victory over the Milwaukee Brewers, whether it's Shaw or Casey. They have come through when you needed them the most. And Michael Busch, who, of all the moves that Jed Hoyer has made, he is the one that has been, honestly, to me, the best outside of PCA. Like, Michael Busch has been crushing it this season. He's been a great first baseman. He's been slumping. But again, a walk. Michael Busch comes to the plate. He clears the bases. And the Cubs have a massive lead in this game. The Milwaukee Brewers, who have keep winning in the wildest ways, the Cubs have been able to hold them off. I said this earlier after the first game of the doubleheader. The Brewers make you uncomfortable. They're playing such good baseball that they have found a way to win games that don't make any sense. And what the Cubs have done the last 3 games here is find a way to keep that arm length and to push them away like a Derrick Henry stiff arm and keep this team from collapsing. It's been awesome. So great job by the Cubs in this series so far. Look, the vibes were bad. The hype is back. There's no doubting about it. We'll talk about Kyle Tucker. We'll talk about Daniel Palencia. And look, they didn't come through in this game for the most part, but at the end, the Cubs win, and that's what matters most. So we'll talk about Tucker, what we learned today from Jesse Rogers. We'll talk about Daniel Palencia. Shaky at best is the nicest way to describe it. We'll get to all of that next here on the Locked On Cubs postcast on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Today's show is brought to you by Gametime. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes it possible. Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to the first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. I talk about this all the time. Not living in Chicago right now, I have so many friends that want to go to Wrigley Field for the first time to see the Cubs or someone else play, and I tell them Gametime's the best way to do it because there's giant cement poles that might be in your way, and you can find that out at Gametime. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Terms apply. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, so again, there's a lot to get through still in this game. Exciting, for sure. Let's talk about Daniel Palencia here for a little bit. So he's been shaky. I don't think there's any way about it. I saw a couple of comments here in the chat talking about Kittredge being the closer going forward. I think Kittredge or Keller honestly should be on our radar. Daniel Palencia, he's got the gas, right? He's a guy that can throw 102, 103. He can put it up there with the best of him best of them in Major League Baseball right now in terms of miles per hour on the fastball. We saw the slider be working some positive, some negative in this situation. It's just been shaky. My overall thought on Palencia is this. At the end of the day, what matters most is your closer gets it done. Is it pretty? No, it's not in this game, but he finds a way to get it done. I'll be honest, I would not make a change at this point in the season. And while his last 3 appearances, I think very fairly have left Cubs fans uncomfortable with the way that he has pitched in the 9th inning, whether it's the Cubs are tied or they're leading, he has earned the right so far this season to really continue to perform out there and see what he can do. So I would not make a change at this point. If you want to make the change, I totally get the argument for you. I think it's probably, honestly, it's probably better than mine of just gut feeling, keeping him out there. But again, at the end of the day, he finds a way to get this done. Similarly with having runners on and getting the double play during the doubleheader. So Palencia, stressful. If Ryan Presley, he's not here anymore, but Palencia kind of taking that Stressley moniker away from him. I said this at the start of the show. The heart's pounding. I mean, this was real playoff atmosphere at Wrigley Field. It was awesome. And a quick aside from the frustrations that have happened this season, we all get it, what's happened recently. I did find myself appreciating, honestly, in the 9th inning tonight, just how good this felt as a Cubs fan to feel that angst amongst all of us, whether it's me or seeing the people already here in the YouTube chat live before the show started, just like feeling that angst, like this game, it matters again. It's cheesy for sure, but it's been so long since the Cubs have been able to find that. But they find a way. Eric says, I think Joe had a heart attack with that last hit. I almost wish I was live beforehand. It might have been Eric even who hit me up on Threads, who talked about a live stream. Yeah, I was arms up, excited. I couldn't believe that hit didn't go down. Because the way the vibes have been recently for the Cubs, as soon as that ball leaves the bat, it feels still like that ball is going to land in right field. Instead, Nico Horner is in the right place at the right time, and he's able to get it done in that situation. We're talking about different years here in the chat. Very funny. Amarcos says 2047. That's too far away. I can handle 2032, but that's way too far away. Question here, is Pomerantz available to close for tomorrow? My guess is Kittredge or Pomerantz will close tomorrow if they don't feel like they are going to see Palencia go out there again. If it's a save situation, of course, that's probably more dependent, honestly, based on just what has happened or just based on who's coming up in the lineup at that point, whether it's heavy lefty or heavy righty. But Pomerantz has been awesome. I think, what we've seen from him is the biggest shock of the season, honestly, at this point. So it's been good. What a great win for the Cubs tonight. What a great series win. Again, I said it earlier, but don't stop now. Win again. Tom says here, they are fun to watch again. Yeah, I totally agree, Tom, because while the Cubs were losing, it was mostly boring baseball. I mean, it was exhausting watching the way this team was playing on a consistent basis, not coming through with guys on base, not putting up a lot of hits. And again, they didn't have a lot of hits in this game. They had 4 hits, but good teams find a way to win. And that's the way they found a way to win today. And that's what matters most. Very quickly here, because even though it's a post-game show, unlike Matt and Sam, I don't get a lot of opportunities to talk about the Cubs and what's happening around them. If you missed the story that came out from Jesse Rogers, he finally reported the truth that Kyle Tucker has a hand fracture, a small hand fracture near the pinky finger, and that's what's been going on with him. Makes me very interested to see what the Cubs are going to do going forward, because if you don't know, if you're watching for the first time or if you're listening for the first time, thank you. I appreciate you. For those listening, I hate to reiterate myself here and what I do in my career, but I work at ESPN Houston. I moved to Houston 10 years ago, and I've been watching Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez for the last handful of years play together. And Yordan Alvarez apparently has a small hand fracture, just like Kyle Tucker. Yordan Alvarez is on his way to returning to the Houston Astros. He's in minor leagues rehab stints right now. So you have 2 organizations handling this thing very differently. Jordan is not playing. He's been out since the very beginning of the season. Tucker is trying to play through it. So what's the right decision? What's interesting is, in a way, I think the Astros have handled this better with the same injury than the Cubs. But the problem is, when you really hear it spelled out for you about, or you see it spelled out for you about Kyle Tucker's injury, again, Jordan's been out for months. Kyle Tucker has been trying to play through it. So also, I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, to be honest with you, that Kyle Tucker is going to come back and be the best version of himself. We can all cross our fingers and hope for the best that this time off will allow him to heal in a way that's positive, but it leaves a lot of questions for me, more for the now and for the previous, of why was Kyle Tucker playing this entire time with a small hand fracture in which he clearly was hurting and the Cubs didn't play it. I appreciate Kyle Tucker. I don't want to ignore that. I appreciate that this guy, and this I don't think has been said enough, and I think this report from Jesse Rogers kind of fixes it in a way. I think the booing is still deserved, but this is the guy in Kyle Tucker that is on a contract year, is heading into free agency, whether he's with the Cubs or not, and he has chosen for this organization, for this year, to play through the injury. So what happens next? I don't know. Cubs fan says here, crazy, should have been on the IL. Totally agree. Like let him heal. Even honestly, right now, in this very moment, should Kyle Tucker be on the injured list? I think the answer is yes. How long are you going to play shorthanded? Now, the Cubs have played shorthanded most of the year because have guys like Vidal Brujan or John Birdie on the bench who have really not played on a consistent basis. But how long are you going to let this thing go out before Kyle Tucker returns to the lineup? I think is a really fascinating question now that we finally have answers. Owen Casey, a big walk in this game. I mean, it's early to say, but Owen Casey breakout series has here. Like, he has played great, whether it's, big RBIs, first career hit, first career home run, a big walk in this game that led to the Michael Busch 3 RBI double. He's checked all the boxes offensively and defensively. So we'll wait and see with Kyle Tucker when his return actually will be. My biggest thing is, when Tucker returns, he's got to be healthy. Don't change what you're doing in this series. We're all fans. We don't know as much as everyone else. We don't know what's going on with x-rays and everything like that. We can only know what's happening based on what the Cubs reporters and the team is telling us. Until Kyle Tucker is ready, let this thing roll. Is this recency bias? Yes, because they've won this series against the Brewers, and they've got a chance tomorrow afternoon to win 4 out of 5 games, to really give you a chance to win this series and have a chance to really push your chance to win the Central this year. It's going to be challenging, but if you're going to do it, winning 4 out of 5 is absolutely the first step. I love this. Keep Big Red Machine in the lineup. Absolutely. The number 19 is reserved for the Redheads in the lineup. I think it was Matt Merton was the last number 19. The one thing he has in common with Owen Casey, Redhead. So keep it rolling here for the Cubs. Great win tonight. Great series victory, but don't let it stop now. Big game tomorrow versus the Brewers to win this thing 4-1. We'll be back with you here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. Remember, you can hit that subscribe button on YouTube, wherever you find your podcast, Apple and Spotify as well. You can find me on all social media platforms at Joe George Radio. So thank you all for watching. Appreciate you guys, as always, for here live on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast, to people listening on audio later, whether it's on your morning commute or whenever you listen to us. So thank you guys for checking us out with you tonight, or hanging out with us tonight. Be back with you tomorrow. Peace.